Welcome, everyone, to the Meaningful Hearts podcast, where we discuss the everyday questions that make us or break us if we let them. I am your host, Drew. Take my hand and let's walk this journey together. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Meaningful Hearts podcast. And today we're going to talk about gratitude and what that means. Tell me what gratitude means to you. Textbook definition. Go.
Well, hey. So first, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about gratitude because it's something that's so cliche and it's so talked about, and yet we have a really hard time expressing gratitude. So what better way to start off with actually talking about the textbook definition of gratitude, which is the quality of being thankful, to show appreciation and to return kindness to others. And I thought, we could also start off with talking about what gratitude means to each of us. So now, keeping that definition in mind, how does that relate to you in your life?
How does it relate to me in my life? Ooh, putting me in the hot seat. I think being
Yes.
grateful, right? In essence, we're being grateful, showing gratitude, being grateful for the things in our lives. Waking up every day, my alarm rings and I have to get up. And what I try to make point of, especially being grateful in the moments where you feel like you're not feeling life, or you're not feeling the moment, or you're not feeling something. I think that's the best time to really try to express it. Anybody could do it in a feel good state, right? In the heightened state, it's easy, but maybe when you're not feeling so good, or maybe when you're waking up and you're tired and you're not a morning person, the way that I do that is think about the fact that I get to get up, that I get to put on my clothes and run out the door, and I have the freedoms and liberties to do so. And then from there, I piggyback onto it. I think about all the amazing people in my life and how I can best serve them and help them. I mean, that's how I start my day, or I go through that process. So gratitude is not just something we think about from time to time. And from my perspective, it's something that I think that we should, put into our lives every day, and maybe write a few bullet points in our journals. So that's my daily take on gratitude. But as far as expressing it, I love to buy gifts for people, things that they've talked about and that they wanted, and just surprising them out of nowhere with it. That's a big one for me, especially telling these people how grateful I am to have them in my life and how amazing they are, and just the value that they bring to my life. So I like to be in real time with it and express it to the people that are important to me. That's just the gist of how I express gratitude. As well as being kind to people. Kindness is a big one. People that you don't get to see every day, maybe just regular people that in passing, you always have a good interaction with them. And some people aren't having a great day. Maybe you have a chance to maybe turn their day around. I was talking to somebody the other day, some complete strangers, a customer of mine at work, that needed something from me, an order, and it wasn't arriving yet. And he said he had the tracking number, and I was like, well, he's like, you think it's going to show up tomorrow? I was like, honestly, we live in the same state. It should arrive today. It should arrive right away. And he's like, well, you want to hear a story? I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, I'll make you laugh. He goes, I lived in the Bronx my whole life. My father was, living in North Carolina, and he sent me a letter. And my sister sent me a letter from the same neighborhood or nearby, and his letter got to his father's letter got to him before his sister's, and we started laughing. It was like, yeah, the post office can be shaky, but in essence, we were just making an impact on each other. We don't know each other. We started off the conversation like, oh, where's my stuff? And it ended up being just kind of making a friend, or just like thinking about that person. I'm talking about him now. It's just the impact that we can put on people. I think that's, I guess, in essence, that's kind of expressing gratitude, or just being grateful of being alive and not looking at your circumstances at the moment and being negative about it. but I did go on a little bit of a rant. So Daniela, you tell me,
Yeah.
how do you feel? How do you express it? How, what does it mean to you?
Well, first, that was a lot to unpack, but in a good way, because I also think that you touched on several different things that people can think about and apply in their own lives. So the way, I guess what I heard from you is the way that you express gratitude is when you wake up in the morning, you express gratitude for being able to get up and go to work. And you also have other rituals like journaling, the things that you're grateful for, and practicing kindness, just to a customer, just listening to their story and relating on that sense. Um, so there's different ways that we can express gratitude. It's not necessarily, I am grateful for this. You express it. Yes, you can definitely express it by saying it. Like, I know that's something that we do in our relationship that keeps our momentum going. We tell each other how much we appreciate the things that we do, the little, even if it's little things like words of encouragement. But there are also other ways to express gratitude in our behaviors towards others. Mm-hmm. So I think that I recapped what you said. I think I got most of it.
Yeah, in essence, you got what I was trying to say.
So gratitude for me, I think we share some of those same things. I wake up. There was something that you said about that the best time to try to express gratitude is when we're having a difficult time. For me, it's a little bit different. I think that if we make a habit of expressing gratitude, we've already built that muscle for when we are having a difficult time or when we're waking up and either we feel tired and we feel a little bit stressed. You already have that rewiring going on in your mind for gratitude. So I think just making it a daily habit, whether it's one thing or 5 things, just saying it out loud, even if it's just as simple as I am grateful for having woken up today. Little things like that really can make a big impact on your day. I also, the way that I express gratitude is I make it a point to use words of affirmations, not just to you, but also to other people in my life, especially people that I work with. I know I walk into the office to say good morning to the administrative staff, and I always say, wow, you guys are so awesome. And they always say, like, that's such good energy. And it automatically comes back to me because I've expressed just something as simple as like, oh, you guys are so awesome today. Something as simple as that. And in talking about gratitude, it's so cliche and everybody talks about the importance of it. But there are, times in our lives when it is really difficult to express gratitude, especially when we're going through difficult times. I did a Tony Robbins challenge not too long ago, maybe like in the past 2 weeks or so. And there was a woman that came on and she was sharing a story. And I thought, wow, that's so amazing how she was able to do that. And she shared a story of she lived for quite some time in frustration, and she was angry at life and she was resentful at life because she had a daughter who at the age of 3 passed away from cancer. I don't remember what cancer it was. And understandably so, there's this saying that goes, a parent is not supposed to bury their kid. The kid is supposed to bury their parents. So it was really, really heartbreaking to hear. But what was fascinating was that through conscious effort and mindfulness and just practicing and understanding life and the importance of gratitude, this woman changed her story of, I'm so angry at life, it took away my child, to I'm so grateful that I got to experience those 3 years with her. And I just thought, wow, like that is so awesome, to be able to do that. And it was just very touching. And I think it's very fitting. And part of the reason why I thought we could talk about gratitude, because yes, it is very difficult. And I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that things are easy to just do. But sometimes by hearing stories like that, or just by having an episode on a podcast that reminds us to be grateful, it makes it a little bit easier. Now I rambled.
No, I mean it's good to get both perspectives. I mean, I love that you can share a touching story with that, and you brought up a good point about how yes, it's easy to say I'm grateful for certain things, but a transference of energy, right? A transfer of energy to somebody else is another way of displaying gratitude. I think that's a big one. I think that every day that we wake up, depending on the state that we're in, we're just as responsible for somebody else having a good day just by our energy, our energy levels. That extra step that you do, like you could walk in like everyone else. Oh, it's Monday. Oh, it's Tuesday. It's just another day. And then there are people that come in and do that, and that kills my energy. I mean, my energy level is a little higher, so it's like I don't feel that way, and it sucks that you feel that way. But it is a little bit of a bummer because it also, you want to like, well, why do you feel that way? Like, why are you killing my vibe? And it's crazy, but it makes you wonder. They're not grateful about their lives, and that transfers to you. So in essence, yes, transferring of energy is displaying gratitude, and it's great when you're around people that have high energy, and then you get recharged, and you want to give back more to that pot. And I mean, above all, you have a bunch of people around you like that. It's just you're unstoppable, and I think that's insane. It's crazy how most people don't think of these things. Like they say, misery loves company. Well, so does growth and high energy frequencies and things like that. It's like, wow, you get together, you guys can be like a force to be reckoned with, and you're unstoppable.
Yeah, I honestly really love that. Growth is contagious, or mindset on growth is also contagious. It's just a matter of placing ourselves in situations where we can grow. And, I'm really curious just by nature. And I always wonder what gets in the way of people not expressing gratitude. And I think, you know, there's several reasons, I imagine, but I think for me, the main two that I think about is we get so caught up in our problems that we don't realize how much we can be grateful. And two, it's a lack of practice. That's why, when you said that you wake up in the morning and you express gratitude for getting to wake up, being able to wake up, or getting to go to work. And for me, making that effort every day, every time I walk into the office and say, hey, like, you guys, how's your morning going? I hope it's going good. Sometimes we forget because the record player that we play in our minds is one of frustration and worry, or we can't do that, or it's just, that sounds too easy. It sounds too easy. How does expressing gratitude, how is that going to make my life better if I do it every day? And well, you're not going to know until you try. So I think that the things that get in our way really come down to ourselves and lack of practice.
I concur. I concur. And it is something you have to exercise. You have to, I wake up sometimes and I'm overwhelmed because I'm already thinking about everything I have to do from the moment I get up to the end of the day. And it compounds. But the key is to not indulge in it. But you have to practice it. You have to practice all these things and just negate them, cancel them out. Sometimes I try to do this new thing where when I have a negative thought, I cancel it. I just tell my brain it's been canceled, and it gets pushed to the pile of, just being aware of it. It's not like you're actually canceling. I mean, in the sense where you're pulling it out of your brain, but I guess maybe programming it saying, hey, it's canceled, which means now it's put into the crappy pile and you're only accepting good stuff. And I guess just being aware of it helps you a great deal.
And yeah, I think that's go ahead. Sorry. I got excited.
No, honestly, it's just how we compartmentalize things. And as long as we're aware, we can start to move beyond, because when you're having a bad day all the time or you're miserable in your life, it's very hard to move forward. But the moment that you tell yourself to stop pulling tantrums and start to like say, this is not so bad, or I'm going to move past this, or you don't give it the energy, you don't give your energy to the negative, you give it to the good things in your life. Then you start to see more good things and you start to see less of the bad things. That's all it is. It's just a shift, right? And if we can do that, that's another way of expressing gratitude, being grateful for where you are. Some people got to start further back than you. This is where you're at in your level. Some people are further up, but they have to be grateful because the level they're going is forward, and we're all moving in one direction. But being wherever you are in life, showing gratitude for where you are, being grateful for where you are, knowing that you can potentially move forward in your life and do better. I think that's the ultimate key to life, right? That's how we move. That's how we move forward.
Sure. I can definitely understand that. And I think that what I'm hearing and what we've been talking about is talking about, I just repeated myself, but it's okay. But what I've been hearing, what I've been hearing is just, it takes conscious effort. It takes practice. And part of it, I think, to kind of summarize this episode and what we've been talking about, is that there's so many different ways that we can express gratitude. Some are simple, some are challenging. I would say that the biggest challenge and yet the biggest reward is being able to turn our frustrations into gratitude. And I think you said, being able to recognize when you're having a negative thought. And I would take it a different approach. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm canceling this thought, but I am just not giving the energy to the thought as much as I would allow myself to if the thought had more power than I gave it. I don't know if that makes sense, but if it didn't, I guess. But in some, giving energy to the thought is really where it's at, into what thoughts you give energy to. And I think the main point that I would want listeners to take away, and you let me know if you agree or disagree, is that we can sit here and be frustrated about our problems, or we can make a conscious effort to be grateful for an opportunity to find a solution to that problem. Just like with the woman the story that I shared, she spent a long time being frustrated and being upset that life didn't grant her the ability to spend a lifetime with her daughter. But that's all it's ever going to be, just frustration. It wasn't until she made a conscious decision to say, wow, I may not have gotten to spend a lot of time with her, but the 3 years that I did, I know that I gave her the quality of life that I thought that I could. I did the best that I could. And she was such a light in my life. And kind of taking that from this episode alongside all the other things that we talked about, I think that's really where it's at. I think I made sense.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. We can pick and choose what we indulge in life. I mean, the key to life is not to get frustrated, not to get emotional about anything, and just keep moving in the direction you want to go. And that's ideally, you could be a robot, but we're not robots. We just got to learn how to process the information like robots and move in the direction that helps us. And I'm not saying that you can't lose yourself and you can't get upset and you can't pull a tantrum. Give yourself time to pull tantrums. It's okay. It's normal too to get frustrated. We all get frustrated. I want to punch holes in the walls at times. It happens, but it's being aware. It's being aware. It's like anything. It's being aware. If I make that choice to act up and give that energy, I'm aware that I did that. That is a step in the right direction. And then from there, you slowly shift. You make it a daily habit. Don't try it once and say, I don't get a perfect score, so I can't do this. You have to actually work at it. That's all it is. I'm a work in progress. Danielle's a work in progress, and we just adding more things into the mix, and that's it. That's where we're going with this.
Yes, I concur.
She concurs. Well, we are going to wrap it up here because we could talk all night long about this. Couldn't we, Daniela?
Yes, we could.
We appreciate you listening. We love you all. And thank you again for listening. Good night.